talk to us. That would be really nice. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkirpatadam bande Shri Gurum Dintaranam Pramanandamadam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चाद शतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय इसको फाउंडर आचार्य ही दिवांग से प्रभुपाद की जय श्री श्री गुरु एंड गौरंगा की जय नित्य गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल की जय हरे कृष्णा chapter 18 almost done. We have one more class after this one and then we'll be done with Bhagavad Gita. So this chapter as I have been sharing and you have heard so many times, this chapter is summary of entire discussion we had throughout the previous 17 chapters. So the concept is more or less what you have heard before, but here we are seeing as a summary. Last week we talked about Brahman platform. So in this chapter you can see how it's ranking up as we have started in the beginning. Karma Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So Brahman platform, and then after Brahman there is knowledge about pure bhakti, and that's the summum and bonum of Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita talks about Karma Yoga, talks about Jnana Yoga, talks about Dhyana Yoga, it talks about Bhakti Yoga, but finally makes the recommendation that one should engage in Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. So we'll start from verse number 55, where Krishna is very profoundly making the declaration that only his bhakta can know him and attain his abode. So we read this verse last class, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanshasmi tattvatah tattvamam tattvato gyatva visate tad anantaram. Visate. Visate means enter. Tad. Who is Tad? The Bhakta. The Bhakta, the devotee, enter his abode Anantaram. Anantaram means forever. Forever. So that privilege is given only to devotee. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Janati means to know. Janna, it's Hindi also, Sanskrit also has this word janati, means to know. So Krishna says Bhaktya mam abhijanati. My bhakta abhijanati knows me through process of devotional service. And how they know, how much they know? Tattvataha, he says. Complete understanding. Again, understanding of Krishna in completeness is difficult, but tattvataha. I think Manohar Prabhu is asking a few questions that how we can know Krishna, and I said that by tattva. Through tattva we can understand. So Krishna says that his bhakta will know him, and that's why he makes conclusion that then the best thing is that work for me, work in devotional service. So verse number 56 to 60, working and not working in Krishna consciousness. So from here Krishna will say what happens if one is working in Krishna consciousness and what happens if one is not working in Krishna consciousness. Sarva karmani api sada kurvana mad vyapasraya mat prasadat apnoti shaswatam padam avayam. So sarva karmani api sada. This is a beautiful concept. Sarva karmani api sada. Api sada. Sada means all the time, always. Sarva karmani. Kurvano mad vyapasraya. So a devotee might appear engaged in so many activity, but kurvano, their their engagement, they are engaged in serving the Supreme Personality of God. So we were just talking about painting the altar. Well, the painter is also painting the altar, or painting, so many things. But that painting is not devotional service because he is not doing in a mood of devotion. But the same painting, when it's done by devotee, then it's not different than devotional service. It's not different than chanting name of Krishna. So it says that Sarva Karmani Apishada, although they seems to be engaged in so many karma, but remember they are doing all for my pleasure. Mad Vyapal Ashraya. They are doing that under my protection. They are doing as a devotional service to me. Mat prasadad apnoti. What happens with that? Mat prasadad. Prasad is mercy, right? We say prasadam. It's mercy. So by mercy, apnoti means he comes. Where? Shaswatam padam avayam. He eternally takes the avayam means something that doesn't deteriorate. Padam means at his shelter, at his feet. Shaswatam forever. By my mercy, he comes to my shelter, comes to my abode. Who? The one who is working in Krishna consciousness. That is why Chestas Sarva Karmani Mai Sanyasa Matparaha. Whatever Sarva Karmani, whatever activity you are engaged in, what should be your chesta? What should be your goal? You should be doing it just to please me. You should be engaged. Matpara, you should be doing that for my pleasure. Buddhi Yogam Upasritya. Here Buddhi Yoga again is Bhakti Yoga. By fixing your intelligence in Bhakti Yoga, Upasritaha, taking my shelter. So taking my shelter, Prabhupada translated here in Bhakti Yoga with fixed intelligence. Machitaha Satatam Bhava. Machitaha. Always be conscious of me. Satatam Bhava. Always think of me. So Krishna is saying that whatever you do, however you are doing it, not however you are doing, but whatever you are doing, Do as a sannyasi, which means do for my pleasure. Make the goal of that action to please me and fix your intelligence in my devotional service. Be always conscious of me. So Krishna is recommending that you should work in Krishna consciousness. What will happen if you do that? Machita sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishati. Machita sarva durgani. If you do that, chitta means remembering, consciousness. Machita means Krishna chitta. So if you act in that way, thinking all the time, me, mat prasadat, by my mercy, Saradurgani, all the obstacle that you have in your life, Tarishasi, you will cross over. So, secret of success, right? People ask, what is the secret of success? Then, if you go to a managerial guru, person who are giving 5 tips, 7 tips, 10 tips, 20 tips, they will give all the tips, but they would never say this. But Krishna is saying that secret of success is mat chitta sarva durgani, mat prasada tarishasi. Atah chet tam ahankaran na srevasi vinakshasi. Vinashasi. Vinakshasi. So he's saying that the one who follows this instruction, machita madgatah prana, then by my mercy, he cross all the obstacle in life. But the one who doesn't follow this, atachettam ahankaram, by their false ego and pride, then what happens? Nasrosyasi, the one who does not hear due to pride and false ego. Krishna says here that person's vinakshasi, akshashi iti chaidam. So that person will get vanquished. The easy translation is they will get completely perished, rotten. So this is secret of success. If somebody will ask, what is secret of success? Krishna is giving here. Following his instruction, one can cross over all the obstacle. And one who does not follow it, due to their pride and false ego, they will perish. So this is a very, very profound statement for us to believe in. We are hearing Krishna. We are trying to follow Krishna. Maybe we are not there yet, but we are in the process. And while we are in the process, the challenges that coming for us to 100% follow the instruction of Krishna, the strength to do that will come from Krishna. In devotee life, if one is surrendered, whatever happens, it happens for good. Always happens for good. So it's very important, very, very important to see this very clearly. We see people, they don't believe in Krishna. We were started doing the book distribution at NRIV. We talked to so many people from Indian origin, and most of them said two things that was very common. They said, we have all of these books. That's number one. I said, you have Bhagavad Gita as it is also? Yes, we have all of these books. And second thing they said, that Krishna is one God out of many gods. Krishna is one of the God. That's the understanding. And by this understanding, they think that they are doing best out of their human form. I don't believe in, I'm not sentimental. Where is proof? Show me this, that. Show them that proof. Krishna is saying that if you do not hear me, then what is your destination? And then at the end, I would request them, okay, so if you have these books, get few copy for your friends. Tell them that you came to St. Louis and you got some gift from them. Somehow or other wanted to, convince that they should buy this book, they should read this book. They should understand the philosophy. Being so long in the movement, I don't think that anyone of us can claim that I am fully Krishna conscious. But there are people who does that. So one works as per his nature anyways, out of false identity and illusion. If you think of not fighting, such as resolve is only misdirection, you will fight anyway, even against your own will, as you are bound by the action arising from your Kshatriya nature and the modes of Arjun. So one is working according to their nature, right? So by false identity, false designation, which is the purpose of ahankar and illusion, it creates the false identity. I am this, but I am not that. Thinking that I am men, I am women. Thinking that I am rich, I am poor. These are just the ahankar and misidentity. But besides all of that, the jiva has a true nature. So Kshatriya has a nature of fighting. Vaisya has a nature of doing business. Brahmin has a nature of patan patan yajanajan. So these are your nature, and you would end up doing that anyway. But if you work as I have suggested you, then you are not going to be bound by the actions or reactions that will come out of the action. And we saw that verse where Krishna is saying that whatever difficulty one has in their process of devotional service, they cross it through my mercy. So very clearly Krishna is saying that in fact we say that karma rahit food without reaction, right? So if there is any action that does not have reaction, that action is bhakti. So it's good for you that you engage in devotional service, which means do what is needed for you to do. Do what is being asked by me to you. So after that, Krishna again I said that Krishna again as I said, Krishna is summarizing here So he is now talking about super soul. We have heard a lot about super soul. So from Brahman, now we are coming to the Paramatma realization. So super soul is the master and director. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshu arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. The spell of material energy, Prabhupada translates. So Ishvara sarvabhutani, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is situated in the heart, Hirdeshu, in the heart, Tishtati, situated, Sarva Bhutanam, of all living beings. So, Supreme Lord is situated in the heart of all living entity. Hmm. And He is directing the living being. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. To all living being, He is giving the direction. Like a driver who is seated on a vehicle, big bus, and he is driving it. He is giving the direction to the entire mechanical setup where it has to proceed. Likewise, Super Soul, situated in the heart, he is giving the direction. But due to a spell of material identification, a living being thinks that I am the doer. Whatever is happening, it's happening because I am doing it. But they don't know that there is a driver, Super Soul, who is driving the vehicle. And we are just being driven. Uptesanti Hanumanta Bhakta Bharta Bhokta Harihi or Prabhu. Due to illusion karta hamiti manyate. They think I am the doer. Tam eva sharanam gacha. Very nice. This is beautiful. I have given class on this verse once in Sunday feast. Tam eva sharanam gacha sarabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapyashi shashvatam. See what he's saying. Tam eva saranam gacha. That is why these are concluding words. Therefore, tamevam saranam gacha. You should take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Sarabhavena Bharata. Bharata here refers to Arjuna. And Sarabhavena, Bhava is emotion. And emotions of all the emotions, or intelligence of all the intelligence, there are different degree or category of intelligence. So he says that intelligence of all the sarabhavena. You have bhava, you have some bhava, you have some bhava, some degree of understanding, some degree of intelligence. Intelligence for engaging in karma yoga is definitely a good intelligence. Niskam karma yoga is a good intelligence. Being jnani is a good intelligence. Being dhyan yogi is a good intelligence. But being bhakti or being bhakta is the topmost intelligence. So sarabhavena bharata, or we can say that the essence of all the emotions, karna randhrena, Bhagavatam says, with very, with very focused hearing, without any, distraction. So when the all bhavas are fully matured, then it comes to the stage of full devotional service. So Sarvabhavena Bharata, with full devotion, Prabhupada translates. Why? Tat prasadat param shanti. You are looking for peace. Here is another peace formula. Tat prasadat param shanti. You are saying that by not fighting, I will have peace. People sometimes think that if I don't engage in devotional service, I'll be peaceful. I don't have to engage. I don't have to do anything. Less work is better. But Krishna, what is saying? Tat prasadat. If you are fully engaged in my devotional service, by the result of that engagement, param shantim, the ultimate peace, or here translation is given transcendental peace. Transcendental peace. Sthanam prapyashi shashvatam. You will attain it. Prapyasi. Prapyasi. You will attain it for shashvatam. Forever. Wow. Forever you will attain transcendental peace. So these verses are really concluding verses. Krishna says, who doesn't want this Saswatam, ultimate, eternal happiness? I want that happiness. But Krishna says that happiness comes when you are engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of God. Please keep on paying attention to these verses, because in the end I'm going to give you some time to have some discussions. So Krishna says, yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, surrender unto super soul. Is that for jnana yogis or for bhakti yogis, Prabhuji?
Uh,
The 61 slok, I think.
right.
62.
So super soul has different understanding also. For us, super soul is Paramatma, and the self of the self is Supreme Lord. So this is right now here referring to Paramatmavadi, and Paramatmavadi is Bhakta. Jnani does not focus on super soul. Jnani focus on Brahman, and then they try to merge into Brahman. So the super soul, trying to meditate on the super soul, is also not the ultimate goal for bhakta, because bhakta or devotees are surrendered to the
Krishna.
Shyam Sundar form. But the process is given here, where Krishna is trying to make us understand that this Gyan Yogi, or this Niskama or Sakam Karma, with all of that, it's better to be Brahmanwadi, which you can become as a Dhyan Yogi or you can become as a Gyan Yogi. But higher than Dhyan Yoga is Paramatma, Paramatmavadi. Brahmameti, Paramameti, Bhagavaniti Sabdate. But Paramatma understanding is also understanding of devotee. It's like a flower, that is not fully blown up. It's not uh, fully developed in a budding stage. Okay, so super soul understanding is also the understanding of bhakta, but in the budding stage. When that stage fully matured, then it transfer to Sham Sundar form, to Bhagwan form. Sistananda Vigrahana Adiradir Govinda Sarvakaran Karnam. That's Bhagwan understanding. So super soul understanding is not understanding of the Jnani also. It's understanding of the Bhakta. Or maybe you can say that when Jnani is coming out of the Jnana stage and going towards Bhakti, he may go through the path of super soul. But Guru Krishna Prasade, but if somebody has prasad of mercy of Guru and Krishna, then no one can directly go and start worshipping the Bhagwan form, Syam Sundar form. So the super soul form is transition. It's not the, if you start paying attention or if you start meditating on the super soul, then you are no longer Brahman, because super soul is also expansion of Supreme Lord as Vishnu. You know that, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So super soul is Vishnu, who resides in the heart of all the living being. So it's the form of Vishnu. So it's not Brahmanwadi. It's form. But that form is not complete form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The complete form is Bhagwan form. Brahmameti, Brahmameti, Bhagwaneti, Shabdete, as you know. So, but Prabhupada says all of these are transcendentalist because they are very close to the goal. So if Bhagwan is goal, then Paramatma is very, very close. And Brahman is very closer. Because from Brahman one goes to Paramatma stage, and then from Paramatma one goes to Bhagwan. Right. So super soul understanding is now we are coming out of this Gyan and Dhyan Yoga. Even Dhyan Yogi, they also ultimately try to merge into Brahman. So super soul is also not the object of meditation as Vishnu for the Dhyan Yogi also. The super soul is the object of worship for Bhakta only. But maybe a Bhakta who does not have understanding of Krishna, who does not have sufficient blessing of Guru and Shastra and Sadhu. So super soul, and you will see that it says that surrendering to the super soul is more confidential knowledge. So Guhyam, Guhyatar and Guhyatamam, right? So Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhan Bhuta Bhakti, and Keval Bhakti, we talked about it. So coming to this stage, this is more confidential. This is very higher knowledge. So Paramatma is not the object of worship of Jnani. A devotee who are not fully matured. Their understanding is not fully matured up to Bhagwan. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is clear. I thought it is confusing little bit for me to understand super soul and Bhagavan, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
So we have seen that. Let me see. I'll stop here then since you asked this question. Let me see if I can pull that presentation, Mataji. 1 minute. I have somewhere. Take time. I had it somewhere recorded. It's here. Oh. Where did it go? So Paramatma is a form of, yeah, here. Let me share this screen. You are seeing this screen now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So there are three super soul for the entire creation. Okay.
Yes,
There is a super soul for the entire material universes. Like all of these egg cell that you are seeing coming out from the body of
Brahmadaksha.
Kanadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So in each universe, so this egg cell is one universe, and this each universe has 14 layer. So in each universe, you have another form of Vishnu who is sleeping on the
Garbhoda ocean.
who is sleeping on the Garbha ocean. So this is an expansion of Vishnu, which is called Garbhodakshay Vishnu or Hiranyagarbha Vishnu, who has come from Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is the super soul of entire material creation. In each creation there are universes. In each or in his creation there are universes. So the super soul of that universe is another expansion of Vishnu who comes from Mahavishnu. And then in that universe you have Brahma, and then there are so many living entity. Okay, and inside those living entity, plant, beast, animal, human being, everything which are conscious has another expansion of the same Vishnu in the form of Chyodakshay Vishnu. So this Chyodakshay Vishnu is Paramatma. Okay, so this Vishnu is referred here. But all of these Vishnus are
Expansion.
all of these
Mahavishnu.
Vishnus are basically conducting or governing the material creation that has happened by the Shandhani potency of Lord, which is manifested by Lord Balram. Okay, and Lord Balram is nothing but expansion of Lord Sri Krishna. So this feature is being referred as super soul. Okay, and Krishna's or Balram feature here, Krishna's feature here is referred as Bhagwan feature. Does it help you understand Mataji or not?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is clear.
So that's what it is here. These are all these personalities are expansion. So Paramatma is basically expansion of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is known as Chyodakshay
Jai
Vishnu.
Vishnu.
Chyodakshay Vishnu, yes. So that Vishnu is being mentioned here. Good.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Tam evam saranam gacha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param santim sthanam prapyashi shashvatam. So Krishna says that at least come to the platform of worshipping the super soul.
Super.
Yes. This is just the again summary that we have gone through. That's the ladder we have seen before also. Progressive order. How where is Bhagwan? So that one would not confuse. There are people who are worshipping Brahman and they say that Brahman is ultimate reality. Paramatmavadi will say Paramatma is ultimate reality. The people who are acting this Kam Karma Yoga, he will say that Daridra is Narayana, just worship the Daridra without any motivation, you will achieve Narayan. They are the Narayan. So he says that surrender to the super soul. Iti te jnanam akyatam guhyad guhya taramaya bimrish aitad bimrish aitad asesena asesena assess, nothing is remaining, yatha ikshasi tatha kuru. So powerful. He says, thus I have explained to you this greatly confidential knowledge of the scripture Gita. Now, yatha ikshasi tatha kuru. Do whatever you wish to do. And Prabhupada very nicely mentioned that, see, Krishna gave this much time. So far, he has spoken so many verses. He is explaining everything to living entity, Arjuna in this case. But then he is saying that please do whatever you desire to do. Wow. Minute independence that living being has. Krishna doesn't want to take that away. That minute independence that we have, that is cause of suffering many times. But then final recommendation. But he says, but I would suggest you that you should surrender to my form as you are seeing me. The most confidential knowledge. So confidential, more confidential. So confidential knowledge is Brahman, right? More confidential knowledge is Paramatma, and the most confidential knowledge is Bhagwan. Sarva guhyatamam bhuya shrunu me paramam vachaha ito vasi me dridhamiti tatto vakshami te hitam. So, since you are very dear friend of mine, and I have spoken with you, and you have belief and faith in my authority, let me tell you what is best for you to do. This verse, many people, this is second important verse in Bhagavad Gita, which is called secondary Paribhasa Sutra. Okay, so this is second most important verse number 65. Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji ma namaskuru mameva shashi satatam te. This is the second most powerful verse in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhav madbhakto. So always think of me and become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, offer your respect to me. Mam yavasyashi satatam te. Thus, if you do like that all the time, Krishna very clearly says here, Mam. Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam yavasyashi satatam te. All of that if you do, I promise, pratigya, this is, I promise you, without any failure, priyo ashime, you will become my dear friend, which means you will come to me. So this is second most important verse. Okay, many school of thought who focus on bhakti will say that this verse and the another verse Sadharman Pariteja Mamekam Saranam Varja, they are on the same status. So both of these 65 and 66 verses are Paribhasa Sutra, Charam verses we say. The verse that Krishna wants to say, and to say those two verses, he is saying other verses. So all the teaching has been given to basically understand these two verses, 65 and 66. Okay, so remember that. It's very, very important to remember that. So, Mam. Krishna very clearly talks about himself as he is. And then there are some explanation given here. Mana, man is mind. So your mind should be concentrated on me. Bhav Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. And Mam Namaskuru, fall on the ground with whole body and offer respect to Krishna. Mam eva shashi, Mam eva eshashi, esayasi, SSC. Doing any one or all of the above activities, you will definitely come close to me. Hmm. You'll become very dear to me. Who doesn't want to be dear to Krishna? So this is verse 65. And then final concluding verse, which I think many of you know. I don't have to really talk too much about it. Sadharman parityajya mamekam sarnam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma sucha. Final conclusion. Krishna says, give all variety of religion. So everything else, karma, niskam karma, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, all of that, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, this vidya, this knowledge, that knowledge, this worship, this temple, that temple, here is, there is, Jan Kalyan, Mano Kalyan, so many things are there. If you can come to this stage, but for one to come to this stage, Krishna has given all of this knowledge. Hmm. So that we can come to this understanding. You know, I see. It's not it's not easy because the faith has to be there. Unless and until that faith is not there, one will always try to find something else as a important means. Somebody else has an important personality. But Krishna very clearly says this verse, as I said, and as you know also, its final conclusion. Give up all variety of identity. Surapadhi binurmuktam. Tatprotena nirmalam. Surapadhi binurmuktam. Krishna says, Bhagavatam it comes. That Surapadhi, Padhi is designation. Surapadhi binurmuktam. Tatprotena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesham. Shivnam bhaktir jate. What is called bhakti? Only working for the pleasure of the master of the senses. Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that can happen only when you are free from all type of identity. All identity. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. This is our identity. Jesus is my God. Well, it's not denying it. No, not denying it. But understand, Jesus himself said that I have a Father in the heaven. Hmm. So, Maam Ekam Sarnam Braja. Just surrender unto me. Ekam, Maam Ekam. Unalloyed, without any compromise, without any alteration. And Aham Tvam Sarapapevyo. I'll deliver you for sure. Take all of your sinful reaction, then I'll deliver you to the supreme abode. But then he says, Moksha, in that liberation, you should not be doubtful. Shuchaha, ma means not. Shuchaha means fearful. You should not be fearful that, oh, how can I get this done? How can I get done? By just worshipping Krishna. Shraddha Shabd Vishwas kahe dridha nishchaya. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karya Siddhi Haya. Just by worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything else will be taken care. In order for a tree to be green, for a tree to expand, give flowers and fruits, green leaves and twigs and branches, we don't have to go and pour the water at the leaves and branch and twigs and fruits and flowers. Rather, we pour the water at the root. The entire plant, the entire tree is nourished. So that's why, but this is a little difficult, I can tell you. This is very, very difficult. That's the advancement in bhakti process. Krishna says that forget about all of that. Do not fear. You will not lose anything. And I'll take care of yourself. So literally, the Shamam and Bonam of Bhagavad Gita is deliver here. Then Krishna starts talking about the Bhagavan realization has completed here. Then he talks about that what are the benefit of hearing this Bhagavad Gita. So this teaching of Gita, verse number 17 and 18, 67 and 78, sorry. Krishna says, what is the benefit? And who this knowledge should be given and who this knowledge should not be given. So he says that this knowledge should not be given to the person who are not austere and not sense controlled, because they would have no faith. This whole empire is built on the concept of faith and devotion. So a person who does not have devotion, they would say, they would not believe in it. A person who is unwilling to hear or not engage in devotional service, they would also not believe in this teaching. And then, most important thing, a person who are envious of me, people who are envying Krishna. Why Krishna? People say, oh, Krishna did, then it became a Ras dance. and I do, it becomes pop. It's envy. Why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why one person is the controller of everything? Who is that person? I am that person. So all of that happens because of the envy. And then Krishna says that ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshwa avidhiyashati dhyasati avidhiyashati dhasati avidhashati. The one who is telling it, making somebody to hear and understand. Bhaktim mai param kritva. Bhakti mai param kritva mam yavashati asamsayaha. So one who explains the supreme secret of Bhagavad Gita to my devotee, what he will do? See, attend pure devotional service unto me. Come back to me without doubt. So this, Bhakti Sastri, by teaching Bhakti Sastri, right? See, this is the benefit I'm getting. Trying to dedicate my time and energy. I'm not being paid for it, right? But this is the service I'm doing. Why Krishna says here? That person will attend pure devotional service unto me and will come back to me without doubt. Krishna says. So we all have to take this process and teach it. Teach it others. Give it to others. Preach it. By preaching, we are going to get the goal that we are trying to get at. Krishna very clearly says here. So preaching has to be promoted. And then see, very important verse here. Nacha tashman manusheshu kashin me priya kritmaha bhavita nacha me tashmad anya priyatro bhuvi. I'll conclude here. So he says that nacha tashman manusheshu. There is no other human being. Kashin me priya kritmaha. More dear to me. Krishna says here. There are so many human beings, but there is no one more dear to me. From whom? Bhavita nacha me tashmad. And there will be no one even dearer in future. Anya priya turabhuvi. To that person who is giving this knowledge, my knowledge to others. So that's what is the beauty of discussing Bhagavad Gita. Devotees who are engaged in teaching, hearing, studying, sharing the realization of Bhagavad Gita, they are very, very dear to Supreme Father, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so we'll stop here. And next week, my plan is to finish it. Only 8 verses. So next class will be the last class on Bhagavad Gita, and we are done. So any doubt, any confusion? Atapasya abhaktasya asrusave avyashuyati nasato moha asmritirlabdha tatprasadam mayachitya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Mataji, please.
So, Prabhuji, I was just wondering, a lot of people know about Krishna, but how come one get inspired to dig deep into the, the um, this whole knowledge, like What is this? What is it? What is it that takes a person to dig deeper into the spiritual existence of our human being? A lot of people don't come, and why they don't come into Krishna
Right,
consciousness?
right. So, Mataji, there is a term called Agyat Swikriti. Have you heard about it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, Agyat Swikriti basically gives the faith, and you would see people of different degree of faith. So, if one does not have faith in the process of bhakti, that means that person does not have enough pious credit. That person has not done enough pious activity in his or her life to have that faith. Means that person has to still suffer the cycle of karma. That person has to for sure go through the cycle of repeated birth and death because the faith has not come. The Sukriti, the acceptance of Supreme Lord has not arisen because of the bad reactions and actions that person has been engaged. How to change that? A bhakta can change it, a devotee can change. A devotee can change the destination of other living entity by giving their association, by, by being kind and compassionate to that person, by feeding them prasadam, by engaging that person indirectly or indirectly in the process of devotional service. So these are the means by which one can develop faith in another person. Sometimes you would see that somebody has naturally more faith than other person, and that is coming from life after life after life after life after life that one has gone through, and all that pious credit is being accumulated, and when that accumulation becomes sufficiently high, then it turns into a strong faith. If the pious credit is not accumulated, then one would not have faith. Yesterday night, I was again at NRIVA, we were doing Kirtan. So whole day I was there for the book distribution. And I saw people who were coming. Mostly people are from Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. And I thought, and some of them were talking about Shiva, some of them were talking about Ganesh, some of them were talking about uh, Hanumanji. And I was scared. If I do Harinam, they would tell that, please leave. But evening time when we were about to leave, somebody said that, no, 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 you can go, you can move around and you can do Harinam here. Oh my gosh, we did Harinam. And everybody was dancing. Everybody was coming and, encouraging us. 1 hour, we kept on doing it. At the end, I went and talked to one person who was next to me. His booth was next to my booth. And I said that, how did you feel? Did you feel that we disturbed you because we were chanting and dancing? He said, how can I feel like that? You all are here to liberate us, he said. I felt so good. You all did such a nice kirtan. And whoever I talked to, the person said the same thing. I said, here is all of these people who have such a high pious credit. I know that the people from South, especially from some part of South, they are very devotional. Whatever faith they have, but they are very devotional. They have very Maybe the names are different, they will have different names, but they still come to America and they very firmly hold on it. Why? There are many diluted too. There are many who are holding on it. Why? Because of their pious deed. Life after life after life after life. They have little bit done for Lord, and all of that has accumulated. So the faith is there. Now it might be for something else, but those person can very easily be transferred to Krishna consciousness. But on the other hand, there are people who will say, "Get out of here! What is this? I don't want this. This is just sounds noise." All of these people of less Sukriti, they have no past credit. They can't hear the name of Krishna. Name of Krishna in their ears will be like poison. Somebody is pouring, molten iron in their ears. So many factors, but for sure the answer is one's pious deed, one's pious credit, life after life that one has accumulated.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the follow-up, just not a question, but just a follow-up thing, that when, suppose, for example, college students, when they come to do services, and we see that they do services at that point of time when they're in the temple, they do all the services and hear the Sankirtan also. So even though they go out and do other stuff, but still they accumulated their pious karma, not for this lifetime, but next lifetime maybe, right?
Yeah, they are all accumulating agyat sukriti. So their faith, like when they are mopping the floor, their faith might not be as firm as you have for Krishna, but they will just do thinking that this is something good, and by doing that, they are getting the mercy of Krishna, which means they have higher chances of becoming devotee. Okay, and we can look at our life. When I started coming to Krishna consciousness, I really was not very focused on Krishna, but one person, he engaged me, making sure we were doing Sunday feast in the church. So my service was to load all the food item on the temple van and drop it there on time. And when thing is done, Sunday feast is done, put everything back and bring it and clean all the pots and put it wherever it is. I was doing it, but I definitely had not a lot of faith. But by doing that, the faith came, faith generated. Today I'm trying to be devotee. So in the beginning, one might have not very clear understanding what he or she is doing, but then devotee engage that person. Prabhu, can you mop the floor? Can you wash the pot? Can you chop the vegetable? But they don't know that this is extreme mercy of a person who is engaging, because that will turn into their pious credit, which will ultimately become their faith and they will become devotee. That is why we should try to find different means to engage people. Whatever their nature is, whatever their liking, disliking is, try to tweak it a little bit so that the person indirectly or directly get engaged in doing something, and then their heart will change. There are thousands of examples I can give you. People who came, they didn't like class, they didn't like devotee, they were criticizing, they all became devotee because they just wanted to do something. They did something because they thought that what is the problem? I'm doing here, I can do there too. But since they acted for Krishna, it transferred into their bhakti. So all of these are pious deeds. We should try to engage people in devotional service. Give them the opportunity to do something for Krishna. And in due course of time, you'll see they will transform. Mataji. I have seen it. I have seen not once, twice, many times. Sunday school teacher, Sunday school parents, they come, people who just come to drop their kids. Right now, there is one family in North Carolina. The mom and dad is initiated because of the son. His name was Utkrist. Son once went to Hare Krishna temple and he liked so much that he wanted to go every time. So mom and dad has to take him. And then finally, hearing, and serving, they became devotee. I can give you tons of example, Mataji. Tons and tons of example that people become, you know. My wife, she became devotee because I was in the process. But she was a bhakta before too. But due to my nature, she had to change. But as soon as I became devotee, she was extremely happy that she felt that she is back to where she belongs to. So there are many factors. Krishna makes sure that all of his bhakta has, all of the people who have faith in him has opportunity to serve him. So yes, Mataji, always engage others. Engagement is very good. That doesn't mean that we don't have to act. We have to act also. Be example, act yourself and engage others. Because we also need some more purification. So yes, all of these school kids who are coming, whatever way they come, they all will become devotee. I can tell you. Take their name and track their profile. 5, 6, 7 years down to line, you will see them. They will be in dhoti kurta, dancing in one of the temple. I can tell you. I have seen many, not one or two. Takes time. They become brahmachari. They leave. One of my friend, his name is Sundar Mukunda Das. Uh, he was Madan something, Mukund or Madan, something like that. He came to Ohio State University, and he was like from a very rich family and very, well-to-do man, electrical engineering. He was doing master, and he would just come to Krishna temple because he wanted to have some good food. And in 6 months, he's changed so much that he's now brahmachari with Radheshyam Prabhu in Pune, one of the prominent brahmachari. He gives class on YouTube and he has advanced so much. He's one of the leader now. When I see him on the Google, on the YouTube, I'd say. And that person started coming to Krishna consciousness because he came from India and he wanted some delicious Indian meal. He was living next to temple and he left everything. So Mataji, these things, this process is so potent and powerful. But if one is not engaging, if one mood is not, to engage, then it will be hard. Then it will take time. Is that enough or you have anything else, Mataji?
Yeah, enough, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. But then the another thing is like even uh, I think I'll rest here.
No, ask. We have some time. Or it will help others too.
No,
Yes.
sometimes they are so resistant, like they don't engage they do not want to engage at all. So for them, it says like at the end, Krishna says like who should not receive these knowledge. So I guess we just need to leave them on Krishna's mercy.
Yes. So there are few people who may not become Krishna conscious in this life. That is for sure. That is for sure. No doubt about it. There are few people who doesn't matter what hard you do, they would not. But then pray to Krishna. If you care for that person, then pray. My dear Lord, uh, kindly help this person become your devotee. I can tell you that my son and daughter, they were practicing Krishna consciousness with me like anything. They will go for Mangala Aarti, and as they grew up, they had their own personality. But I know that they 100% cannot obey me. But one thing that I do, I always pray, Radha Samsundar. Whenever they will be there, I'll say that, my dear Lord, these two souls, kindly make them devotee. I can tell you on the paper, they will be. They are. So like that, offer them to Krishna. My dear Lord, I have given this soul to you. Kindly help them become your servant, become Your prayer, pray for them, pray for them, and be a good example. Mataji, I have seen so many cases. People change like anything, you know. So yes, you're right. Not everybody will become Krishna conscious in this life as well. But you have to know that they have not made enough credit through many lives. Your Krishna consciousness is not from just this life or something that you did in this life. No, it's like little bit, little bit, little bit you have been accumulating. Once that becomes sufficient enough, then it turns into faith. So that person does not have sufficient swikriti, past deed, which has brought him or her to the point where it has now turned into a faith where one will have dhoti, kurta, tilak, chandan, and then they start saying, like Mirabai said, "Mere to girdhar gopal dusro na koi." This is very, powerful. Sam is everything. Radha Sam Sundar is everything for me. I am their servant. You know, whatever way, my dear Lord, wanna keep it, keep me. You wanna me happy, happy. You wanna be your servant, I'll be servant. You want me to be the master, I'll be whatever. But that is very advanced stage. But somebody who has enough swikriti will come to that stage. But others, for all living being, we pray. As a bhakta, we pray for all entity, all living being. My dear Lord, let's everybody become your servant, your devotee. And whoever you pray the most, that person will change the most. I can tell you. Sometimes it may happen in your life span. It's all possible, Mataji. So yes, please keep on praying. We as a devotee pray for entire living entity, for entire mankind. Harinam that we go, we don't know anybody, but they dance. I can tell you, their account has opened. That's why the senior devotee, Hridayavanga Prabhupada said, go for Harinam. All these Western people, we see we are doing nothing, they are not coming to temple. That's fine. They're not coming to temple, but their account is open. All the devotee who is Thursday, they are already devotee, as I see. But they appreciated that we did Harinam. All of them will become devotee. All of them will come at this point where they will say, maybe next life they will do only Krishna's bhakti, like you and I and others are doing here on the call. It's just a matter of time. Things will happen. Okay, thank you so much. Hope it helped. And last class is going to be next week. Then we are uh, done with the Bhagavad Gita. Mataji is asking Santa Mataji, is there any change in the exam date, Prabhuji? I don't know even if there is any date, but you all think about it and we'll talk about it next week. I have another class in half an hour, so I'll get on that class. And Santa Mataji, Bimla Mataji, can you post the message about the exam date?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will
Yeah,
post.
kindly post. Are you back or is you still in India?
I'm still in India only, Prabhuji. I
Okay,
will be back
Jai.
in August.
Okay, so please post the message that please think about the date, and next class will be the last class on Bhagavad Gita. Then after that we can start. I need to merge this batch and have another batch that has 6 students. So all of students from that batch will come to this batch, and then we'll maybe have 10-15 students. We'll start Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Powerful, power. That's the book that will all the doubts that you have on many things. If you go through that book, my gosh, eye opener. Okay, thank you. Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayavascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Isammal Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Bina Mataji, when I get some time, I'll call you and then we'll connect Rasi Gauranga Prabhu on the call and we can align.